As the course enters into its 7th week, I wanted to elaborate a little bit on a couple of changes to the course calendar over the next couple of weeks for the class. First of all, I changed the due date for the Chapter 10 reflection from the course text. Originally, that reflection was needed to be posted before the 8th of March, but that's the last day of spring break, and I really didn't want to formally make any assignments for you during spring break. So I moved that to the end of this week, the end of week 7. So you need to get that reflection done by the 1st of March or the 2nd of March, whatever the Sunday is coming up. And what that's going to do is to sort of ask you to, it's going to accelerate your reading for the class a little bit so that you will read and review Chapter 10 this week. So that's an important thing to do if you haven't done so already. That will be the last chapter that presents information that aligns with what's going to be measured on the second course exam. So that's something that I don't recall if the date was revised for that. I don't think it was. But exam number 2, you will take, it'll be available starting the 13th of March, and then you need to take it before midnight on the 15th. So that's exam number 2. And again, it's important for you to take the practice exam sometime this week if you can, if you're ready for it, or the week after spring break early, so that if you have any questions about any of the items that didn't quite make sense to you, you'll be able to sort of get in touch with me and we can discuss those issues. So that's really important. Another important thing I wanted to say about the exam is that unlike the first exam, this time you're going to be using you're going to need a special piece of software that attaches to D2L, and it's called the Lockdown Browser. And we're going to be using the Lockdown Browser now for assessments due to some test security issues that have come up particularly this year. So that's a little tiny piece of software that needs to be installed. And in order for me to make sure that you're ready to take the exam, what I'd like you to do this week before spring break is to go into D2L, go to the course, our course, and go up to the quizzes tab, select that, and you'll see a quiz that is going to ask you to do a check for the Lockdown Browser, and you'll see that listed as one of the quizzes. It's not worth any points, and it's only one little question that just tells me you got in successfully and everything was configured right. So sometime this week, I'd like you to go into D2L, go to the assessments, and what's going to happen is if you don't have that software installed on your computer already or your device, however you take the assessments, what you'll need to do is there'll be a link there. It'll say you need this software. If you don't have it, click here, and then you'll click there, and then it'll go through the installation. So if you happen to be one of the few students who take assessments on a computer other than your own, or a device other than your own, like it might be a work computer or something like that, then you're going to need to make sure that you determine whether or not that software is installed. And if it's not, you need to make sure that it gets installed. So you might need to talk to an administrator for the computer about that. Hopefully not. If you're on campus at Radford, it's likely that software is already on all the computers. But anyway, please, I'll email you if I don't see your completion name on the list by the end of this week, and I'm going to keep bugging you about that to make sure that we don't have any problems during the assessment time. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to just talk a little bit about is project number 3. And now project number 3 is also due on the 15th of March. And project number 3, just like exam number 2, they address one of the most important aspects of this class by far. And that is Project 3 is kind of an extension of Project 2 in that rather than just obtain an assessment like using AI or some other source and then analyzing the items that are generated to determine based on the rules that are presented in this class, if they pass the test, if they pass the rules, you're going to actually develop items on your own now for something. And I'm giving you a choice for project number 3. And the choice is between, this case that I create about environmental justice, and I provide you with some learning outcomes for a very important topic that could be something that might be addressed in a class, gosh, maybe middle school, maybe a little bit younger, all the way up through high school for sure. And the reason why I have presented that as an option is because it's so important for us as teachers to promote things that are important, that are really worth using as a way to contextualize important learning outcomes. And environmental justice is one of a long list of important things that I think that everybody should learn more about. And so I've picked that as a context that you can use, especially if you don't have a classroom of your own or you're not a practicing teacher right now. If you are a practicing teacher for the project, you can go ahead and create an assessment that or use assessment items that you've already created for something, or create some new ones for something that you're teaching now or will soon teach. Same with student teaching. If you're student teaching, this would be a good opportunity to formally develop an assessment and then examine how well the items are designed based on the rules. So that is, so it's important to know that there's a choice for Project 3. And if you're a practicing teacher, but you'd still like to use the environmental justice one and just do it for either a class you have or a pretend class, that's totally fine. Okay. So just know that you have a choice for project number 3. And again, all of that, Project 3 and exam number 2 address the, really the most foundational skills in this class, which is how do you develop potentially valid and reliable assessment items. And there's a set of rules that you should familiarize yourself with very, very well. You'll be assessed over those rules in the on exam number 2, and then they'll all be applied in project number 3. So just like they were in project 2. So anyway, that's it. Just wanted to check in with you right now at this point, week 7 of the class. And again, as always, if you have any questions or concerns, please let me know. And I am happy to talk with you about anything that you need help with. Thanks.